Hello, this is Worth a Minute, and my name is Craig Werth. No coincidence. I don't harbor regrets in this life of mine, or I try not to. But there are a few things I find myself wishing I'd been able to add to an otherwise very rich and highly valued experience. I would have loved to meet Pete Seeger. And even more than that, I would have loved to sit down with Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers himself. I'd have been glad to sit on some porch steps with him, a cup of tea or a glass of milk, share a sandwich, and sit there in his company. We might not have much to say to each other, and that would be okay. I just know I would have loved to do that. His shows are still available online, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It's especially worth taking the time to look up his many wise quotes. Fred, which I assumed he would have invited me to call him, seems by all accounts to have been the real deal. He was genuine. His on-camera personality was not at all far from his off-camera self. Sure, he adjusted his language, phrasing, and timing for his tiny audience, and yet everything he said on his show was something that made good sense to me even as an adult. Maybe the pacing was slower than I needed, but maybe not. Maybe speed and volume are not our friends when I consider the rapidly increasing pace of things and how we fill up all the silences and pauses and bombard ourselves with sights and sounds at ever-increasing speeds. Oh, how I long for a dose of Fred Rogers today. Among his many great quotes is the way he responded in times of great difficulty and tragedy. I hesitate to mention particular events again, but we all carry them with us, and I intend to use this to raise up a great positive force in the world. Here's what Fred said to us, and it's as relevant today as it ever was. If you grew up in our neighborhood, you may remember how we sometimes talked about difficult things. There were days, even beautiful days, that weren't happy. In fact, there were some that were really sad. Well, we've had a lot of days like that in our whole world. We've seen what some people do when they don't know anything else to do with their anger. I'm convinced that when we help our children find healthy ways of dealing with their feelings, ways that don't hurt them or anyone else, we're helping to make the world a safer, better place. I would like to tell you what I often told you when you were much younger. I like you just the way you are. And what's more, I'm so grateful to you for helping the children in your life to know that you'll do everything you can to keep them safe and to help them express their feelings in ways that will bring healing in many different neighborhoods. Thank you, Fred.